Alright, welcome back to another session of Seas of Sand. Bookkeeping, first things first. I think everything's fine with tomorrow. Yeah, it is session 20. I think everything is fine with tomorrow's Silver Song session, but I think, pulling up my calendar. Yeah, I don't think there will be a Wednesday Whispers in the Woods session, due to the busyness of exams for some of the players. So we will not have one then. I might still do a stream depending on my availability, but I'll announce that at a later time. Welcome back to Pancake Adventures, featuring an interesting side cast of characters who are just sort of also here in the background. Previously, I don't think I have any more bookkeeping, so we might as well get into things. Previously on Seas of Sand, main character voted fan favorite character Pancake, confirmed by a vote of viewers. But on previous episodes of Seas of Sand, the party is working as bodyguards to escort a perfume merchant across the desert to an oasis in the north. Starting, of course, at the large city of Al-Zahar and making their way north to Kasana Oasis on behalf of the merchant prince, who has hired them to look after one of his merchants, as he believes that something is attacking his caravans in a more coordinated effort, and he wants to know what it is and potentially put a stop to it. So the party is escorting Leandro, as well as a few other people who also had an interest in going north. One of which was Elizabeth Upton, an archaeologist who was looking forward to heading north for archaeological purposes and academic interest. The other was an herbalist named Tasha, who wanted to accompany the party, who recently revealed something else about her. So the party has spent the last couple sessions traveling through the desert, including finding an old Arakokan tomb, where they found a few items and were attacked by some undead and some living statues. And after that, made their way back out into the desert and continued to head north, where one night Tasha admitted that she had been lying to the party, and that Tasha was not her real name, and in fact Tasha was not her face either. She didn't really look like that, and so she revealed to Valbella alone late at night that she was actually a woman named Owala, and that her visage was a little bit different than what they'd expected, but we'll get back into that once we switch to the screen. And then after that, on the most recent day of travels, they encountered a sandstorm, which threatened to swallow them up, and they opted to hunker down in their tent and wait out the storm, which ended up lasting quite a few hours. And so they lost a day of travel doing that. But where we left off, they had just heard the sandstorm dying down and exited the tent to find that all the dunes around them were unrecognizable, as the sandstorm had shifted things around. So, getting back into things. So as you can see, Tasha revealed that she was not Tasha, she was in fact Owala, a woman with snakes for hair, which she described as a curse upon her family. So, desert winds. So the four of you and your caravan peer back out of the tents and survey the dunes around you to find everything changed. The tent that you had, you'd sort of set it up in a sort of makeshift lower form to try to avoid most of the wind. But you said that you wanted to sort of fix it up after leaving leaving the sandstorm behind you. So as for your intentions right now, I'm not quite sure what we left it on. So, as you leave the tent, it is getting a little bit later. You spent most of the day hunkered down in your tent and lost about a good day's worth of travel. I think right at the end of last session, you debated about trying to travel through the night to make up for that time. Whose background noise is that?
Probably Ezzy.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Just some background noise. It's all good.
It sounded like a plate fell or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, nothing happened.
She's beating up plates as we speak.
Yeah.
Just throwing them at the wall like
Beauty
like
and the
frisbees.
Beast, more like Beauty and the Brutality.
It makes the
Alright.
pain go away.
Brutality and the Beast.
I think you guys debated trying to make up the time by traveling at night through the desert. Though Leandro did add, I think, that you also hadn't slept during your time in the tent bunker. So you would also need to do that at some point too.
It's implied we didn't sleep?
No, you had just woken up.
Oh. Huh. Well,
it was early in the morning when you just woken up.
Yeah.
You traveled for about a couple hours, so it was only like 9ish, 10 in the morning when you decided to hunker down for the rest of the day.
So I suppose that we just try to go for as long as we can until we are all physically exhausted. I think that's good.
I don't,
Well, I think we should at least try to go until what? It's like it's high noon right about now, right?
Noon?
no, it's like mid. It's like the night.
approaching- No, it's approaching evening.
Oh,
so
okay.
You got less than an hour before sundown.
So
Well, that would
hypothetic, we
I believe I
could
said
travel.
it was 8 hours or so that.
Through the night, but then we'd
Well,
fuck up our
not
sleep
through the night.
schedule.
We could travel somewhat. And
We
only
could travel
sleep
through the
less.
night, and people could take turns sleeping on on
On
pancake.
Pancake?
Yeah.
I
But we
mean,
only get,
yeah,
like, an
that
hour of
doesn't
sleep.
sound. Yeah, I mean, like I'm not talking in the accent. Oh no. I think that's a good idea though. Like we take turns sleeping on pancake. That's probably best. Because if we try to do a little bit of
But
travel
Leandro is the
before,
one leading us, and during the hour that he's asleep, what the fuck are we gonna do?
I mean, we've just been really going in one direction, haven't we?
I hate that band.
Straight ahead, they don't exist, and they
One
can't hurt you. They
Direction.
don't exist here. But like, we've only been going in one direction, haven't we, Jay? Haven't we, God?
No, they actually do
God,
exist. They
don't.
play at taverns.
No! You could be playing
Harry
Pokemon.
Styles. Sorry. Harry
God
Styles.
damn
is
it.
But to answer
Harriet
your actual question,
Styles.
you have been heading sort of in one direction. You've been heading north for the most part, though. Leandro has sort of been taking you, slightly east, slightly west, just kind of navigating you in between dunes, because some of the dunes again are quite massive. So he has been sort of leading you a little bit, but you have been heading vaguely north the entire time. Though I will add, as you look around you now, your surroundings are entirely different.
Well, if Leandro led us for the first hour, we'd be fine if we just kept going in the same direction.
Well, we aren't necessarily going to be traveling in these accents. I don't know.
I mean, we could also just have him ride on top of Pancake so that he can rest, maybe not sleep, but rest for an hour.
I don't know. I feel like no matter what, we're gonna have to make up this lost time, like sleep-wise somehow.
Oh, we're
So,
no, for sure.
so like, I feel like if we do it now, then that prevents it from being hindered in the future. Like, so that in the future, if we get really tired, we don't have to stop then. We just are like, okay, well, just wait now.
Luna, we haven't heard anything from you. What's your opinion?
I do not know.
I feel like regardless, we are going to have to travel through the night. Like, we're going to have to do a little bit of night traveling because it's probably going to take us 25, 30 minutes to just gather everything up in general. And then to kick off, we'd only be going for like 30 minutes. So that's not really a long journey, you know?
I mean, we could travel for a few hours and just sleep less. Like, instead of having 8 hours, we could have like 5.
I mean, whatever we end up going with is fine with me, because sleep is for the weak, and I am very strong.
But some of us aren't.
Bella has also been eating and drinking half as much as everybody else.
Yep. God,
Bella will probably
Ezekiel has also.
Just
by
gonna
the
keel
end
over
of it,
and die
I'm...
at some point.
Yeah, like, what? How is that relevant? How are you making that relevant, Jay?
What is he doing to cause us?
It's in the background. I don't like to always make that obvious, but it's in the background.
I'm afraid I'm gonna
Oh,
see
goodness.
results.
Wait, hasn't my
I mean-
character also been doing that?
I don't know if you have. I didn't write it down that you had.
Oh, I think I have.
You might have done it during one of the days, but I've been doing it every day for a while.
Love that for me. Bella's just like, I can keep going.
I can write it down if you want to do it every day in the future.
I thought I had been, but yes.
Okay.
He's a skinny little man.
Who's typing?
Luna.
Your mama?
It's
I'm putting Shocking Grasp in as a custom action because I just found I can do that. I can't
my
put it on the
God.
spell list, but I can put it under attacks, and I forgot I had it last session.
nice.
All right.
Yeah, they don't like you adding cantrips because you're technically not supposed to do that with spell scrolls.
Yeah.
But
But it's weird because it's like the DM gets the final say,
Well,
so you'd think there'd be a switch somewhere
I think
to allow it. But
I
no.
think it's just not priority for things that they're adding since it's not really something that DMs do. You usually don't want to give spell scrolls to wizards that are cantrips because giving a wizard too many cantrips is just making them too strong. But I had already added that item when you didn't have a wizard in the party, and I was like, the intention was that it was just like a one-time little use of that spell, of that cantrip for a non-wizarding party. But you'd already had it, so I was like, I don't want to just like, metagame that item out for no reason. I'll just let you have it.
That's fair.
So don't expect that in the future, any other wizards.
Oh yeah, of course.
The other wizard ever. Alright. So, definitively, are we just going to travel for a few hours and, like Sid said, get less sleep? Because I think, honestly, that's the best plan.
I
Yeah.
mean, does
Yeah.
Leandro agree that we have to make up this time?
We did indeed lose some time
Hold the
from
dagger.
hunkering down all day from the sandstorm. I agree with the decision to wait and not try to travel in the sandstorm, but we have lost a bit of time now. I suppose we could make it up in small amounts. An extra couple hours walking each day would eventually make up the time.
Oh, I didn't even think about doing it over a course of multiple days. Yeah,
we
we
still
could.
have time to travel, so
Yeah.
Just get a little less sleep every night.
Makes sense to me.
All right then. Should we pack things up and move a little bit today before we rest?
Yes.
Yes.
Ezekiel and Valbella are gonna die by the end of this trip.
No, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
They
Literally,
both have
they're
feelings, so it'll be fine.
All right.
you drop like good berries into our corpses.
I just gotta find a good berry squirrel, right?
Yeah, I
wonder-
can't heal you guys. Oh, you guys gotta suffer on your own.
So, you pack up your things, tucking away the tent and adding your things back up onto Pancake's packs on his back.
Oh god, it
Cecilia,
just disappears.
presume picking your lantern back up.
No, I just leave it there. Kushalis like, what? Where are you going?
Putting him back on his gay little hip.
That's rude. Why would you?
Cecilia just
Hey, little
decides
hip,
to
that's-
become a normal person again and just sacrifice all of his magic by leaving it in the desert.
He said, "No, I'm sick of this shit." He just leaves it.
All of his personality gone.
Oh no, his personality. Like he ever. Kidding.
Alright. Losers. How do
Well-
I fucking...
How do you do it?
I keep... Okay, so I'm on Firefox and I keep trying to use Alt to, like, set my character outside of the grid, but it keeps popping up that stupid little, like, code message, you know? Like,
No.
file edit, etc., etc.
I don't know what you're talking about.
File edit.
Okay.
I think you're just struggling a little bit.
No, because every time because it pops up every time I hit Alt on Firefox, it gives me the file, edit, view, history, bookmarks, tools, help screen.
Oh yeah, it does do that.
Yeah, like, how do
Weird.
I... Crying.
Just snap your character to the grid. Suffer.
Truly, that's what must be done.
It doesn't do it for me if I just hold it down and move. It doesn't do that.
Yeah, but then you have to let go.
If you tap Alt once, it does it, but it doesn't do it when I let go. As long as I clicked and dragged.
But, like, if you want to set it in the middle of the grid...
Yeah. Yeah, I've just been moving you around like that. It's not popping up for me.
How the fuck are you...
It only does it if I just tap Alt on its own. At least for me.
Oh, you let go of tab first.
Tab?
No, how are you... Or not tab, Alt. How are you doing it? Because I have to hold Alt.
Yeah, you just hold down Alt and move around. I have two tabs of Roll20 open, so I'm over here in Chrome on the main screen with chat, and then I have a Firefox tab of it open too.
Dude, I literally don't know how you're doing that.
You're supposed to hold Alt down while you're moving it.
Yeah, you hold Alt and
You
while
hold
clicking-
Alt and then move it.
Yeah, when if I hold down Alt and then move and let go and then let go of Alt, it doesn't do it for me. It only does it
So-
if you
Hold down,
hit Alt
move.
without doing any other inputs. That's the only way it does it for me. I don't know how else to help you solve that.
I had it.
Like, you don't just tap Alt your character. Like,
You hold it.
you hold tap.
Yeah,
hold Alt and
I
then
hold down Alt,
move it around.
move the character, and then once I'm done moving the character, I let go of Alt. And that doesn't do it for me. But,
Okay.
again, I'm not seeing what you're seeing, so
A playing card keeps
just be
showing up on the side of
different
the
on
like,
our...
Oh,
Yeah.
that shows up for everyone? Oh, gee.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I don't know why I'm allowed to pop that up for everyone. There's a playing card button in the menu here.
Or what if I hit draw?
I didn't do it that time.
Click to draw.
Deal.
Drag to deal.
Draw.
Damn, there's
Pick
playing
too.
cards in there?
What?
Okay, we're getting distracted
Okay,
and it's my
alright.
fault. We're getting distracted and it's my fault.
Here you go.
Sorry.
Here's 2 cards.
I want cards.
No. What? Tay!
Fuck?
Stop trying to steal cards out of my hand.
Fuck.
Stop.
Steal,
Stop.
steal.
Ooh, I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them. They're mine.
No.
God.
No.
What is
You
this?
can't have that.
I've never used that macro before, so it's fun though.
Hello.
Now there's a little pop-up on the side of my screen that says click to draw, drag to deal that didn't go away.
Oh my god.
So it's just
There's a
sitting there.
pop-up. Oh, I'm
Why am
gonna
I allowed to
use
do that for everyone? I have no idea.
Oh, I have
Oh
a
my-
king in my deck, guys.
Hmm.
NGL.
I don't
I'm
even
still
have.
clicking it. I want it.
Okay. So traveling. Travel.
got it!
Travel bing.
Yes, I let you have it. You're welcome.
Aw.
Please, can I have one?
Oh,
don't have any anymore.
amazing.
Take your card.
Wait, so are we traveling through the night?
Yes, we're
Okay. Done.
No, we're traveling a little bit, and then
A
yeah.
little bit of travel as a treat.
Yeah. We're just
Okay.
making up a little bit of hours here and there.
How many hours do you guys want to travel for?
Mm,
3.
Another
That's a lot.
40 minutes decided. Yeah, it doesn't particularly matter all that much. But yeah, so you have maybe another hour until sundown, and then if you want to travel a little bit past that, you can do so. It'll just be darker and colder.
So if we have 8 hours to make up, we could do 2 each day and then be done in 4 days.
Or we could do 5 today. Take
And
us all day
suffer.
doing nothing.
I think 2 is good. I think that works.
Because we're gonna
That's
make
enough
it up over days.
slices.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Okay. So you travel for another hour, and then as it gets dark around you, the time when you usually settle for camp, you want to do 2 more hours after that.
Yup.
Very well.
Mhm.
Yes.
Let's do some.
The
Oh,
infamous
yeah.
roll.
Night desert travel. Let's go.
I don't think I really have any night desert travel maps.
No.
Never said on mine.
Just put the little go into incarnate.
See,
add
well,
the
see, this is why
over-
I think Roll20 would be genius to just add like a filter that I can just push a little button, and it adds like a blue and darken filter to the map.
Mhm.
I think that'd be really cool.
Roll 20 if you guys are listening.
It's-
That's what you
then-
gotta
Then
do.
any map becomes a night map instantly, and I don't have to do all the work myself. Would be very atmospheric for day to night changes, but they don't take my suggestions, so.
Damn. It's really disrespectful of them.
All right. So you spend 2 hours staying up a little bit later past when you usually would, and persisting onward to travel through the desert at night. Now, I am going to make you guys make a navigation check.
Oh, boy.
Oh no.
Both from the changed dunes as well as the absence of light. So whoever has the highest one can just do it. But I'll give them advantage on it because you worked this out in a way that Leandra was still awake.
What is navigate?
Yeah, I don't have a navigation.
Survival, sorry.
Okay.
Ah.
Gonna say.
I have a
So-
+1.
I have a
I have a plus-
5.
Oh
Ah,
my god, okay,
okay.
you do it.
Wait, what was it? What was it?
Okay, I got a natural 20.
Baby, you know that episode of SpongeBob where he
No, I have
rides a
never
rock?
seen SpongeBob ever.
No, I'm not talking. Phoenix, it's okay. I'm talking to Jay on this one. You don't have to
Okay.
know. Jay just has to. That sounded really rude, but like I just want Jay to know.
Okay, what do I need to know?
The episode of SpongeBob where he rides a rock.
Yes.
That's us right now.
You're riding a
I
rock?
guess.
Do you have a perfectly good pancake?
Pancake is not pancake. Rock.
He's not.
Our group. He is like
I'm riding pancake.
our rock, like in a spiritual and like emotional way.
Understood,
Like
understood.
he is.
Very well.
Anyway,
All right.
Phoenix absolutely carrying us. I think Phoenix has the most nat 20s out of the all of us.
Out of the all of us.
That was a dirty 20.
Mm,
But
It was a
It was,
15 plus
it was an
5.
unnatural 20, yeah, but still a 20 is a good roll. And it is sufficient.
What
You
is
don't
a
even
good
need to
roll?
use your advantage. You're fine. Unless you really want to roll again and see if you get an actual nat 20.
yes,
it don't
Yeah, go
hurt
for
to
it.
try,
for it.
bestie.
It doesn't hurt.
I did not.
Here you go.
Nope, got a 10.
Well, the
That's
20
good.
is good enough. So, in that case, I will add a
This.
beneficial encounter.
Oh,
Beneficial encounter.
okay, God. So that means it won't be cacti.
Cacti aren't necessarily detrimental.
But I'm not going to tell you which one it
The
is.
cacti were. The cacti
Um,
were detrimental.
I'm going to eat
Oh,
more
Maybe
It has
to
cacti.
been
you.
it has been
Maybe give us a
randomly
herald.
added to the rest of your existing campaign, and you will not know which one it is.
God damn it.
Great. Love that for us. You're awful, and I hate it. Thanks. Love
Don't
you,
say that
Jay.
to the god. Don't say that.
So
You
you
can't
spend
change things in the fly.
you spend some time. I can change a few things um, on the fly, but sometimes
Shit.
making entire maps is hard. But in this case, I actually don't have to. We're all good. I anticipated all this because I spent a long time designing desert travel for this world. We needed a bit of desert power in our lives, so spent some time working on it. But you spend some time traveling slightly past when you usually would in the night. But with Ezekiel's keen vision and Leandro's general sense of the desert, you manage to not have too much difficulty traveling in darkened conditions. Though it is a little bit colder as you walk these last 2 hours. Perhaps that's welcome for some of you from the more northern climates. AKA half the party. More than half the party.
Who is this chair?
I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Your chair said, "Ayo,
Your chair
feature
said,
me."
And so you make up a bit of the time that you lost by traveling later at night and do not encounter any dangerous night monsters.
Damn. No, I'm just kidding.
So
Glad.
as it starts to get a little bit later, and the 2 hours that you had sort of allotted to attempting to make up this time pass, you can decide to press on or just make camp for the night.
We did the 2 hours, so
Yeah.
yeah, let's make it.
yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, that's fine. Is there anything in particular that anyone wants to do when you make camp for the night? Or just a standard nighttime as usual?
I don't have anything.
I would like to take a look at the flute I got.
Very well. You can make an Arcana check since you're doing it without identify.
I have a +2 to that. I got a 17.
All right. Well, you examine it, taking some time before bed to try to figure out what it might do, or what it might be all about. And from the design of it, it is definitely shaped like a snake, but it doesn't strike you as particularly Yuan-Ti in origin.
I see.
It doesn't appear to have been made by any Yuan-Ti. Yuan-Ti typically known for harsher stone structures rather than a wooden flute like this. This doesn't seem right. As for its effects, I can't give them exactly to you, but you do sense that it sort of seems a little familiar.
Okay.
Though without playing the flute, I can't really give you much more.
Play it, flute boy.
I mean,
Play
like,
that
I don't
funky
see.
fluty
Alright.
white boy.
I kind of want to
Play
do it
that
now.
funky music.
I
white
feel.
You
I'm
play
feeling.
it, you
peer-
something like
I'm-
that.
Go flute boy,
I'm
go flute boy,
feeling. I'm
go.
feeling
Go, flute
peer
boy, go,
pressure.
flute boy, go flute boy, go flute boy, go.
I just want to test it out. Like, I'm not trying to play anything intense, but just like see if it works. Even.
All right. Just play sort of one note.
Yeah.
All right. You play like a single note, maybe just even open fret, and the tone of the flute is sort of soft and rather delicate, but it has this sort of undertone that sounds familiar to you. It has this undertone to the timbre of the note that sounds like a hissing noise as you play a single note.
He keeps playing it as things are like, oh yeah, get into it.
Make an int check for me, actually. Just straight int check.
Okay.
Let's see how smart Cecilia is.
Oh, I got a 7.
Yeah, sure does sound like a nice flute noise.
Jesus Christ. If I keep playing, can I get more information?
Well, to move things along, I would say no for tonight.
Damn it.
But
Well,
if you want to keep playing it, you certainly can. But as far as more information, I'll hold off for tonight, just to move things along. But obviously, playing different frets covering the different holes along the surface of the flute plays different notes, so you can kind of form a makeshift little melody there. And each of the notes all have that sort of underlying timbre of this hissing noise to it.
Nice. Yeah, he's gonna play it for a little bit, so he gets kind of like a feel of it, and then he's like, "All right, I should go to bed."
All right. Then for the rest of you, as you're setting up and getting ready for bed, you hear the gentle melody of this hissing flute echo throughout the quiet dunes around you.
What if he sucked ass at it and they just
You
sort of like
can make a performance check if
wheezing
you really
noise?
want to.
No, just thought it would be funny if they were like, "Oh my god, it's so nice out here," and then they just hear like squeaking noises. And they're like, "What the fuck?"
Like Squidward.
It turns into a clarinet somehow.
But if nobody else has anything specific they want to do,
I can't believe the Squidward slander. How could you?
Play that funky music.
nobody has anything specific that they want to do, or anyone that they specifically want to talk to, then we can just roll across to the next day. We don't need to spend a ton of time on every single night. I'll take that as a no.
No.
I'm good, unless there's some magical fucking properties to this. What was it? A sapphire? A ruby? I
I mean,
don't
well,
know.
you haven't checked, but
Gonna smack something with my warhammer.
I mean, I guess I could check that out.
Let's come here.
No, please. I don't deserve
Pancake,
this.
get over here.
Blood for the bird god.
Oh, pancake.
if you did that, you would single-handedly end viewership of this campaign forever.
Truly,
Everyone
killing
would
the
stop
fan
watching.
favorite?
Yeah.
We get canceled in our second season.
Twitter ban.
Randalorian supports animal abuse. Cancel.
True.
Alright.
Okay.
Then do you want to spend some time before bed examining that sapphire that you have?
Or
Alrighty, Arcana
why
check for you.
not? What? An Arcana check?
Yeah.
I don't got to. I'm not.
You know
I'm not in.
someone who's very good at Arcana.
Oh, it doesn't even matter because I got a 19.
Sorry, Lynette. You're coming
Man.
to an end. We have to kill you for food. No, I'm just kidding.
We must eat you.
What the fuck?
You know, eating noises.
All right. So with
Uh-huh.
an Arcana check like that, I would say you get a sense that there might be something more to this sapphire. It is not just simply a valuable gem. There's something kind of a little bit strange about the way it sparkles, even when there isn't any light to refract off of it.
Interesting. I'm gonna kill you, Samuel.
God damn it.
Okay. Okay, well if that's all the information I can get out of it, I'm just gonna pocket my little gemmy and go bed. Bedtime, time for bed.
Well, then you each pack up your things and have a night's sleep, getting slightly less sleep, but not a significant amount less. Only 2 hours, so I wouldn't say that's enough to make any of you especially tired. To what? What are you making? What are you
I'm making
now?
a note for myself.
Where are you noting? What?
What? What's happening?
No, keep the session going. It's not that important.
Very well.
What are you?
Then eventually, as you rest for the night, the sun begins to rise once more, and the desert begins to heat up as the rest of your caravan bustles around, packing up things and getting ready to get a move on, hoping to get going rather early in an attempt to avoid losing any more time. All right, then you spend some time packing up your tents, and you've done it several times now, so you're getting a little bit better at it. No more clumsy dropping of tent pegs or the accidental collapse of the larger tent.
Eggs.
And so it's only a few more moments before you're ready to begin traveling again.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is
I
too
hate
much.
this campaign.
I hate.
I'm
being in
pretty sure it was Bella. I don't know who else could have said it.
I hate being.
Well, it wasn't me, and I don't think anyone else's voice sounds like that.
That's what they're called.
And
It's not my
moving
fault.
on.
That is
moving
what they
on.
are called.
It's not my fault.
It's not a funny haha. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
It was you. This is not gaslighting.
Yeah, you can't gaslight us. It was literally.
This is not gaslighting.
This is not gaslighting.
I
I was
was
just trying to lie.
I was.
Okay.
Anyway,
so
moving on. Moving on.
with your things
moving
packed up
on.
and stuffed back up on top of Pancake's back, you are ready to set off once more for another day of travels. Let me not drop my dice and instead roll them.
Rolling
uses
is
actual
kind of
dice.
dropping.
Yeah, you
Imagine not using a dice
You
towel.
don't want to use that result, so I'll roll it normally.
We're
He just, like,
probably gonna
throws
get
it
the
across.
same exact thing, bestie.
Alrighty. So, forming up once more into your caravan. I'm doing this because I need to copy you, obviously. Leander out in front. I think Valbella, you were up here.
Yep.
I don't really care where the rest of you go.
No,
There
I
we go.
have front.
There you
Yep.
go.
I'm on
I have to be next to it. My man.
Luna, you already got your turn on pancake.
Yeah, Luna.
Yeah, and then I got impaled, so and I didn't get any loot. So you know what?
You
I
got
get
it.
Oh my
pancake.
No,
God.
you got
Well,
it back
I'm
to the
happy
camp,
at
didn't
least.
you?
You got
What?
better from being impaled, though.
Yeah, you got better.
Oh, I got better, but I'm
Yeah.
still taking pancake.
You're
It
magically
still
better.
hurt. I'm still mad about it.
Well, I'm
Anyway,
happy because I'm where I want to be.
continuing
So we're gonna
on.
keep going.
Moving on.
Today, as you travel, you see sort of piled up dunes on either side of you. Leandra sort of leads you down in between them so that you're not walking up and down every single one and exhausting yourselves. He sort of tries to lead you in between them, and you weave your way between the dunes rather than climbing each and every one. And eventually, as you sort of pass in between these two taller dunes, you notice sort of a very sand-swept looking area. And poking out behind sort of a half blown away dune, you can see what appears to be several stone columns jutting up from the sand. They appear to be sort of worn with time and partially collapsed. But as you draw near, you can see that it's sort of a ruin of some sort, uncovered by the movement of sand from the sandstorm.
Fun.
OMG ruins, guys. You know what happened the last time we looked at the...
We almost fucking died.
Yeah, let's do it
Yeah,
again.
I got a cool hammer with a
Oh
bird
yeah,
on
because
it.
Yeah.
you guys were so
Yeah,
roughed
yeah.
up. Because it was just so terrible for everyone else.
Listen,
It literally was. Except for Suliu.
I did okay, but I
You're
think we
fine.
should still take a look.
I did okay. Alright.
I was just having a time. You guys can suffer by yourself.
So Elizabeth looks quite excited at the idea as you draw near. And as you get a little bit closer, you see nestled in between all these stone pillars, several statues, half crumbled.
Oh no.
Yeah, statues.
Oh, this
It's like
one's
the best.
fucked. Oh.
Oh, there are a couple.
LMAOL,
Or one of
Ripbozo.
them. Oh, no, God.
They are they're built on top of sort of a stone platform in the sand that's half covered in sand as it sort of blows up and off the surrounding area. And the partially collapsed columns have cacti growing around them and all sorts of little shrubs sitting sort of in the shade that they cast. But in the center of this platform, you can see the faint sort of tracing of some sort of symbol.
You started
Someone said,
talking
no, I'm
about
out.
it. You started talking about it. I got scared.
And several different statues sitting distinctly throughout on either side of this little stone plinth that they sit on. Each of them has a sort of raised platform beside them that bears a bowl. Now, if you allow me to describe the statues for a moment, as I am a little bit limited in the statues I can show you on the map. So let me describe them specifically how they should look. So there are 3 statues, each seated. They are humanoid figures, but each has distinct features. The one that sits here... yeah, everyone can see what you're drawing. They each have distinct features. The one southernmost, that is sort of the most collapsed. Do you want me to delete it for you?
No, I think I'm gonna keep drawing. Yeah, that just like oh.
There
I
you
was gonna keep drawing out the symbol,
go.
but
Now you
okay.
can start over.
Okay.
The most collapsed one appears to be Nyanhari in origin. You can see kind of one of its ears sticking out. Oh, sorry, not that one. This one is Nyanhari in origin.
Ah! Okay.
This one is human, and this one is Aarakocra. The collapsed human one has a book sitting in its lap, open, made of stone as well. The Aarakocra one has a staff in one of its hands.
Who is trying? No.
And the Nyanhari one has...
Oh, it's a sun!
There we go. And the Nyanhari one has a sword sitting across its lap. Each of the statues are weathered from the sand and time, but each of them is relatively still intact, though
Which
some more
one has
collapsed
the
than
sword?
this one has a sword sitting on its lap. This one holds a staff in one of its hands, and this one has a book sitting open in its lap. So
Guys,
again,
if we learned anything
Nyanhari-
from the last.
So Nyanhari, Aarakocra,
Okay,
and
so this is
human.
so the reason I was unrelated. I'm sure you could all guess why I was doing that, but I wanted to know what it was. It's a sun. Is that gonna erase me? I'm so scared that's gonna erase. Yep.
She touches the
Oh,
statue
no,
and
please
disappears
Bilbo died.
permanently. See,
Guys, help! She's dead.
okay, what were you gonna say?
So it is sun shaped. You can't confirm or deny that. I'm gonna assume that I'm right. It is sun
well,
shaped.
if you want to actually do that in person, in character, you
I
can.
do. Can I? I wasn't sure. Well, okay. I'm gonna talk to the group about it. Cause I can't keep doing dumb shit. Although I wasn't particularly stupid last time. But anyway. Okay. Would it be okay with the group if I threw over the lines? I'm trying to figure out what this is, and I assume that as long as I don't use mythical things, it won't do anything.
Don't use magic chalk and.
Yes, that is exactly what I was
Well, I wanted to do a ritual detect magic on it, so I guess I'll be doing that in the meantime.
Very well.
Okay. I go to draw out the little... Stop it, Luna! It's distracting me! My ADHD is screaming
Stop
about it.
Putting the bozo next to me.
Okay,
hurts.
okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna go around, and because I'm just so good at drawing circles, I'm gonna leave it up.
All right. So, what are you tracing with this in universe?
God, look at how good at tracing I am. What do I have on me? Probably I'll use the ash for my torch, I guess.
Hey, roll 20. Yeah, that would work. Ash from your torch would probably work. As you sort of investigate it, you can make an investigation check for me as well.
Okay.
Hey, roll 20.
I don't know if I want
While
to.
they do that, roll 20. Another feature idea I just had. Ability to ban players from drawing. That would be awesome.
Me?
Thank
Who's
you.
rolling 20?
Sorry.
Oh, you're talking
Permanently.
about roll 20.
Sorry.
Yeah,
The
thank you.
website.
I
you,
don't
Roll 20.
deserve to be able
Just
to draw. I'm
a
sorry.
permanent ban. That even I can't undo. That's what I want.
Okay, if you promise not to ban me, I won't draw Among Us anymore. Bro.
So, this
Good,
is
thank
why I wrote Bozo
So
next to
Lunette was allowed to draw Bozo next to me and follow me around.
You guys need to change your color off of purple so it stops looking like it's me doing all this.
Mine's green.
I'm gonna change mine to the exact shade you used just to make it worse.
I want you to know that I am trying so intently to find all of these stupid little fucking lines.
It's literally the exact same pattern all the way around. Like
No,
what
I
you have at the
know.
top there is the exact like. Hold on.
Shut up. I can't
helping.
help. Please do, because I lost this section over here.
There you go. Oh, and you have this one too.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
It's just
Cool.
yeah.
Make
Here,
a,
you can see the word Bozo.
Make a what check, Jay?
Investigation.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Invest check. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Invest. Okay. A 19 again.
All right. I will clear the current chat log. My hand is hovering over the button.
No.
Do it.
I will purge all of your past messages permanently.
Purge it.
No,
Do
Jay.
it. Purge it.
Please.
There's
Do it. Do it.
With a 19,
Do it.
with a 19, you can see that there is sort of a section of the stone platform that you stand on, and as you kind of trace over it, it's slightly kind of worn into the stone. It's not something drawn on top of it that's faded. It's a slight indentation along the stone that you're filling with ash. And as you draw out that sigil, you see that it is indeed in the shape of a sun on the platform here. And perhaps once it stood out a little bit more, but as everything is sort of worn from sand blowing across it, it is sort of faded into the background.
Okay. That's Suits, Elizabeth, do you recognize this?
Can we take a look?
Yeah, you can.
I'm not driven. Oh, I thought you were talking
What am I rolling from?
History. With advantage because Elizabeth is here.
I have a plus. See if it actually. I got a 19.
19. All right. Well, as you and Elizabeth spend some time while Lunette casts Detect Magic, Valbella traces the symbol on the ground. The two of you spend some time examining the statues. And from what you can gather, they are at least several centuries old.
Ew. It's an old ass statue.
Partially collapsed and not of any particular origin, as they depict three different races. It's actually kind of hard to pinpoint who might have made them. They are kind of seemingly sculpted similarly, with this sort of faded metal surrounding stone. But so clearly, it's clearly the same people built them, but it's hard to say if it was Ara Cochrane in origin or not, because they depict different figures. Yes, you can look at the sword. It's just sort of sitting in the lap with two of the hands resting on top of it. And the sword as well is also made of stone. It is a sort of more of a depiction than an actual sword. And likewise, the staff that this one holds is also made of stone. And the book that sits on the human figure's lap is stone as well.
Is the writing in the book eligible?
Eligible? The statues are relatively tall, though you're pretty tall as well.
Yeah? Try that again.
So I'd say you're about approaching knee level to it. It's a big statue, but you're relatively big too.
I'll crawl up it.
The text that has been sort of inscribed into this stone book is complex and strange. It's sort of runes that are a little difficult for you to understand, Valbella.
And I guess I can't determine like what origin they are then. It's okay if I can't, because we've got two people in the party.
Yeah,
that
I would say difficult for you.
Okay. Which one of you is? Well, okay, Elizabeth's an NPC. It's really you.
All
I
right.
need your help.
He is
Um,
over me.
I'm a little stupid.
The drawing is over me.
Oh no.
Wait, hold on, I got it. It's my drawing, so... Can you, like, pull me up on the statue? Because I'm so much shorter.
Oh, sure. She like fucking cheerleaders him up.
He's, like, struggling. He's like...
If he had a tail, it would just be thrashing about wildly.
Yeah. He's struggling a little bit.
And it's okay. He's valid.
All right.
Yeah.
If you want to take a look at the text, Cecilia.
Yeah.
Then make an Arcana check for me.
Okay. That is a 14.
With a 14.
Yeah.
Does he get advantage because Elizabeth is here?
Elizabeth, Arcana is not her specialty. She's good at history. She's good at investigation. But
What
Arcana,
about
she's
Lunette?
she can
What
do
about Lunette?
She could do an Arcana for you. She's casting a spell right now. She's busy.
Damn it.
Casting a spell.
Yeah, stop
Wait a
it.
few minutes,
It takes
then.
10 minutes. But she can do one for you, but she's not going to grant you advantage on any of them. She's just sort of
Damn it.
mediocre at it. I gave them
We
each
might
2
have
things they're good at and 1 thing they're mediocre at, and then a couple
Okay.
things they're bad at too.
Okay, so we might have to do that if we don't get much out of this.
But Cecilia, from what you gather, it appears to be arcane runic writing. Sorry, though not particularly legible to you.
You.
It's certainly
I'm not
not.
a
It's certainly not
Oh.
written in a language like Draconic, like UNT Draconic, or
okay.
it doesn't look
Language is just-
similar to the Arakok and hieroglyphs that you've seen either.
Well, I thought so. It's what I thought he was doing is that he was implying somebody else in the party might know what it is.
I mean, since it's an Arcana thing, Lunette would probably know more.
Speaking of Lunette, you finished casting.
Lynette. We summon an eldritch horror beast.
Yep.
Yep.
Just for you.
It eats you all.
Yep. Sad.
Yeah.
That was the ending I planned this whole time. Wasn't that satisfying, chat? Everybody
He's
but
like-
Pancake. Pancake gets away.
Yay!
So what
The
do I
main
see?
character has plot armor.
But as you finish your spell cast, you look around at the platform that you stand on as the sand blows across it, and statues, not magical, they don't glow. The sigil that Valbella sort of traced over, non-magical, doesn't glow. The only thing that does glow is the book up here.
We're gonna die. Sitsalu, we did.
Scusi, that better
I've already
pull me up.
Nice knowing you, buddy.
Yep. He hops down.
As you
You
sort
don't
of
even know.
as you sort of clamber up there, Lunette,
Do you need help?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
perhaps knocking a chunk or two loose from the statue as you do.
Cecilia jumps off and subsequently breaks a fucking leg.
Yeah, she helps Suts down so that he doesn't do that. And then helps Lynette up.
Well, Lunette, as you sort of now sit perched kind of up on the statue's knee and take a look at this book, you can see that the page is open, it's kind of splayed open, and the text scrawled across it on both pages has been carved into the stone rather than written on top of it. And as you look at it, the kind of twinkling glow that you're getting of magic is coming specifically just from the text itself. These sort of inscribed runes. Just one sec. I wanted to double check something.
Oh, what are we checking, Jay?
Specifically, the magic you're getting is divination.
Oh. Very interesting. Can I make the check too?
Yep.
Or was it just... Oh, okay. Okay, big money, no whammies. 16.
Yeah, that'll do it. So, as you sort of scan this text here, at first it's a little bit confusing and kind of hard to read, but eventually you start to kind of recognize little bits and pieces, and eventually kind of can put some of it together. These are arcane runes, much like the ones that you scrawl down in your own spell book. This is a spell written in the text of this book.
Mm. Am I able to try casting it or something?
Well, you can attempt to copy it if you want it.
Yes, I will definitely do that.
All right, then
Hey
you can
guys.
take a moment. If you don't want to do the full copy of like all the stuff that costs money, then you can just kind of jot down what you see there in normal ink if you want, in like a non just like notebook copying rather than actually trying to copy down a spell into your spell book. And then later on, you could transcribe that into your spell book if you wanted to.
I guess so.
All right, then you spend some time sitting up on top of the statue and copying down what you see in the spellbook. Is there anything that anybody else wants to do while Lunette does that?
Good.
Very well, I'll take the rest of the silence as a no from the other two.
From the peanut gallery?
That's rude. Why would you say that? That's so mean. I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep
No, please.
because of what you
wait.
just said.
I didn't mean it.
Nope. Crying already. Can't stop me.
Can't. Wait. Fuck, I fucked up the lyrics.
Can't stop.
And
Gigwog.
as you continue to copy this down, Lunette, you get a better and better sense of what this spell might be describing. And by the time you finish it up, jotting it down just kind of in plain ink into your notebook for potential later use, you realize that it is a spell of identify.
Oh.
Oh my god, he's gifting us. Actually, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, that's a thing that we've mentioned.
Very nice.
We just keep getting goodies. Something bad's about to happen.
Something bad is about to happen.
bad's about to happen to me.
If that is all, I suppose I'll just climb down.
Yeah, that's you copy down what the book says, and it is a sort of runic inscription of the identify spell, but that's about it. Obviously not able to turn any pages.
No, I think she should be able to.
All right, yeah, sure, go ahead, make a strength check.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I got it.
All right, you
got a
crack the
four-
book in half, and it's broken forever now.
Oh, I was about to say I got a 14.
It's a very delicate book.
You look at it
No
and
more
start
book.
sobbing.
I did say that the
No
statue
more.
was half collapsed already. All right.
You did.
Makes mental note that nobody else is allowed to use this to get identified.
I don't think anybody else can.
I certainly can't now.
Oh, this is
Fun
okay.
forever.
Actually happening. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, okay. I think it's bad that
What?
sometimes I don't realize that my actions have real world
Why would-
consequences.
Why would you do that?
Valmella, what did you just do?
I didn't think the DM would actually do anything about it.
Who's the DM?
Who?
Metagaming.
How much cactus did you drink? Be honest.
This is actually
Who
what's
gave
it
you the
called?
pot?
What's it called? An intervention? Jesus.
Who passed Valmella too many hits of the blood smoking?
Me, sorry guys.
The exact person who I would expect it from.
All right.
As he hides drugs in that their jacket.
So Elizabeth is just kind of, as you guys are doing stuff, she's drawing pictures in her own little notebook of each of these statues, just to kind of make a note of them.
Great. Does somebody want to draw down? Wait, is she drawing the sigil?
I can describe the statues a little bit better if you want.
Oh.
Since she's
just-
drawing down what they look like.
Oh, I would just wanted to know if somebody was getting the sigil on the ground.
Yeah, she's gonna sketch that too. She's just sort of taking note of everything, so that you guys don't have to.
Teehee.
He's such a good teammate. Wow.
That found magic. She's happy.
The Arakokran statue appears to be sort of owl-like in its appearance, with sort of ruffled-looking feathers. It looks to be relatively old. The human statue appears to be male, with long hair, kind of reaching down past his shoulders. The Nyanhari, also male, and not full blood Nyanhari. A cat boy, if you will.
Cat boys, let's go.
Jay
No.
said it.
Has,
Jay
uh,
said it.
Let's go.
Has shorter hair and what appears to be something kind of like almost like a wreath around its head, and is wearing armor of sorts, obviously carved from stone.
Nice.
Your tweet, get it. Good stuff.
Well, if we're done here, cactus.
No.
Don't do it.
Drug cactus.
I mean, you can
Hold
if you
on.
want. I'll just pull it up.
No.
Eats
Don't
the
do
cactus that is just a regular cactus. Absolutely nothing
I got
different
the table
about it.
right here. We can do
No. No.
it. I dare you.
Are
No.
all of the desert cacti?
Yes. All of them. No.
I was gonna say, shit. People in this desert must be like fucking cracked out all the time.
Boom. I'm
Absolutely.
fucking
Losing it.
up. Anyway, are we
He's
moving
losing
on?
it.
Let's move on. I feel like okay. How high up are these plates?
You do not break a plate.
I don't plan to. If it happens, it happens.
They're sort of approximately head height for everybody else, which is sort of about even with the knees of the statues.
Can I look at them? I want to give them looksies.
Very well. They are also carved from stone. They're not actually separate from the plinth they sit on at all. They are attached. And they also look quite worn and weathered. They kind of almost curve a little bit more than just a plate. They're almost more bowl-shaped, though kind of halfway in between.
Can I take out the sapphire and put it in the Eric Cochran bowl?
Yeah, you can. I won't stop.
See, just to see if anything happens.
All right. You place the sapphire in the Arakochrane bowl, the one that's next to the Arakochrane statue, and nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Okay. I pocket it again. Okay. Interesting. Don't erase these, because if we come back to these,
Yeah, I'll leave
I mean,
them up as is.
erase
I'll leave the map as
erase
is.
them if you want, but
No, I'll leave this map as is.
okay, cool. Alright. If everyone else is done.
Lynette found magic. She's very happy.
Alright, then if you're ready to move on, Leandro sort of guides Pancake around the side of the large stone platform. And is waiting ready to go when you guys are.
Excuse me. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go, Mike.
Elizabeth seems a little bit reluctant to leave, like she could spend perhaps another 14 days here, but she, at your
Elizabeth,
ushering...
be honest. Be honest with us. What else could you find out here?
Well, there's all sorts of things. We could take small
Honest
samples.
answers only.
We could take small samples from each of the
That
statues.
don't
and
require additional weight.
make sure that
time.
they're carved from the same type of stone. We could... and she
That
just-
with ay Dios mío. Okay, moving on. We move. God, I'm so
Now, we could even start a dig site in the surrounding area. We could look for maybe perhaps if there's something buried here, there's something buried around the rest of the area. here.
Elizabeth, I have a
I
question.
agree with
Genuine
Elizabeth.
question. No, Elizabeth. Do you know of any other ruins similar to the Arakochrane one that we came from that are out here? Do you know of any more? Maybe, perhaps.
Well, I haven't traveled the entire desert. I only know about the ones that, well, most folk around these parts now. I only know about Ein Syndrome, of course.
What? Hold on. Repeat that one more time. She spoke real fast for me.
Well, Ein Syndrome. I told you about it before.
What word is she saying? What are you saying,
Oh my
Jay? No, I genuinely like. Ah,
Ein
okay.
Syndrome.
I couldn't decipher the N and the S. Anyway, continue. Okay. What is that again?
Well, originally it was thought to just be an old Nyanhari tomb. But, well, my father, he had theories that there was something more to it, and he pursued those for forever. His entire life he spent believing that there was something else to the tomb, and, well, eventually, ridiculed by all of his peers, he passed away.
Do you... I guess that is sort of the mystery of your life, isn't it? Trying to find the Ansidram?
Yes, well, not find it, no. We know where it is, but
Oh.
I want to prove my father correct. I believe I told you this before, though.
Very rude about that. I mean,
She told us about
it
this.
isn't at all.
Yeah, so how long ago was that at this point, Jay?
A very long time. I'm just teasing you.
Yeah,
I
God.
remember that she wanted us
I don't blame
to
you for forgetting what
I
she told
remember
you,
her
she
dad
did
died.
she did the same thing that she's doing right now, where she talks really fast and just dumps a whole bunch of information on you. So I don't
remember
blame
her
you for forgetting
dad.
it. I was just teasing you.
Okay. So, if we know where that is, group, speaking out of character, would we mind taking a detour?
I mind.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm
This
pretty
is
sure
not-
that's very far
Yeah,
south for us
this
to go
is
to
not
now.
Wait,
our
is
place
it?
to-
Is it
It's-
really?
I mean,
It is
it's
very
like-
far away.
It's like other side of the
Okay,
desert.
yeah.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
thought-
But
okay.
we can put a
my
pin
we
bad.
in
can
it.
we can
Yeah,
definitely go there
'cause-
after.
Because I thought that it was just I thought that it would be probably on our trip. That's my bad though.
It
Yeah,
would-
That's
it's
my
not
bad.
it's not like Ocarina of Time. Like, yeah, it's just over the hill, you know.
It would more
Alright,
than
okay.
it would more than double the length of your journey.
Let me adjust my note taking here really quick.
Just your note. Have you been taking notes under that assumption this whole time?
No. I'm on the map. On the map.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely
I-
put a pin in that, but
Yeah,
we
so
can't
my
Yeah.
thought
know.
here is that there are gems in all of so that I'm not being vague and weird about it. My thought is that there are gems like the sapphire in these tombs that are spread out across the desert. I feel like we'll need to come back to this, which is why I'm being like, where are the other tombs? Because this is just too. This is too, it's too much. It's too. This, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking. Who knows?
Maybe just a little bit.
But they're bowls, and it feels important. But anyway, carrying on. That's not important right now.
Alright, so you managed to drag Elizabeth away from the statues that you found in the desert. And begin to continue on your travels.
Rest in peace, Elizabeth.
Rest in piss.
No.
Do not do that.
Man, it sounds like Valbella could use some up dog.
What's
Hey,
up,
what's
up,
dog?
dog?
Yeah, what's up, dog?
Yeah, that's
not
that much.
Let's actually take a little break right here, since this is a good time for it.
Well, all right.
I will be not breaking, so talk to me, anyone.
Very well.
Let's say a bunch
but
of curse
for-
words in chat.
Some of them will
Have you
stay
heard of
here,
this
but
concept?
for chat's reference, we will be right back.
Actually, I'm gonna go get some water.
Me too.
I'd get more snacks, but I've eaten so much today.
Yo, mom.
I don't. This is literally this. Is I could walk all the way to the vending machine in my dorm hall, but that also means I have to spend money. I don't like spending money.
I send you vending machine money right now.
No. Well, also, like, I'd have to put, like, a jacket on, because, like, I'm just wearing pajamas right now, and, like, I have to put shoes on, like, go all the way up there. Not looking forward to it. This is what I get for eating all my Triscuits. Damn.
You know,
Having
Devoid.
an acapella moment.
Yeah, but like I was doing the fun thing where my lips are closed.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I am eating peanut butter out of a jar right now.
That sounds so good. Make a smoothie. Or not a smoothie, a milkshake.
I am literally out of college.
I know. I thought you were going to say I literally don't have time for it. And I was like, oh, I didn't think you had one. A blender.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't have ice cream either.
You just need milk and peanut butter.
I don't have milk.
Oh my. How do you eat cereal?
I don't have cereal. What the
With
fuck?
water.
You eating breakfast?
I don't eat breakfast. Breakfast opens at like 7:30. I'm not getting
Oh.
up that early.
Oh my god.
I just don't eat breakfast. I have lunch and dinner. Maybe a Pop-Tart if I'm lucky.
Maybe a Pop-Tart if you remember to treat yourself with it.
Yeah, literally. Because it costs money.
Jesus Christ. I mean, in the real world, they do too.
I just looked in the mirror and my face has stolen by like a 50%.
Oh my god.
It's okay.
So what do you get for having sideways teeth?
I'm so tired.
Oh my god.
Yeah, actually, now that we're in the middle of the break, this is a good time to check. Are you okay to keep going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just I'm really tired, but I'm promising I'm trying to pay attention.
We can stop now if you really want to.
No,
No one will
it's
be no
okay.
one will be upset.
I'm not in pain or anything. I'm just really tired,
Okay, well, it's
so
good,
I
that you're,
can finish.
it's good that you're not in pain. But if at any point that changes or you feel exceptionally tired, feel free to just speak up and we'll wrap things up early. Okay?
If you pass
Thank you.
out,
I'll be good as soon as I'm done by like
Yeah,
10ish.
if you pass out, please send us a little message before you do so, just out of courtesy.
It's possible I fell asleep for like 5 minutes earlier, but it's not. It's neither here nor there.
Well, don't hesitate to speak up if you do need
I
us
won't
to put a
hesitate,
pin on it
bitch.
for the rest of the day, because nobody will be upset with you.
oh, bro, this
Thank you.
peanut butter is busting right now. This is some good peanut butter.
Yeah.
I'm literally just eating it out of the jar.
Alrighty,
The best character returns.
Pancake, where you
Pancake never left. What do you mean?
Yeah, he was always up in the top right.
Oh,
top left.
man. You, Jesus Christ.
What a
at? Oh
reliable
shit, I
lad.
didn't move my token. Everybody's about to leave and leaves in the bottom.
Yeah,
like,
so it just stays there
you
forever.
guys are leaving? Damn.
I live here now with the statues.
They listen to me better than you guys.
Oh, while I do your thing, I want to join them. All right. So, you depart the statues sitting in the middle of the desert, and leave them behind you as you continue along on your journey. The rest of the day has nothing that occurs, but we don't need to spend a ton of time always doing night times unless anyone specifically wants to do something.
Nope.
All right. Then I will move along to the next day. Let me double check my weather table. I think this was one that had one.
Not the weather.
Yeah. All right. So, as you wake up in the morning to sunrise on this day, and begin to sort of pack your things up and prepare to set out for another day's walk across the desert, you notice that as the sun rises and the desert begins to heat up around you, it is far hotter today than it has been any of the other days. There is not a cloud in the sky, and the desert is absolutely sweltering to the point where you can see heat waves off in the distance, shimmering along the dunes. And you can feel yourselves getting a little bit baked by the desert heat. And you get about maybe 2-ish hours into your travels. Actually, here, let me just... Where's my default map? Perfect. There we go. Meet those guys. Bring the new guys. So as you travel about 2 hours into the day, as the sun rises fully and things truly heat up, I need you guys to make constitution checks for me.
Son of
Aw.
All of you.
No.
Ezzy and Valbella, you are going to get disadvantage.
What?
You guys
You're
have
from-
not been eating and not been drinking.
I got
I
a
got
17.
9.
We're doing.
got an
Constitution.
11.
I got a 17. So you guys all die.
Constitution saves, sorry.
James, well, I don't
So
know.
wait, is it? So wait. Oh, god damn it! I'm
Ooh,
gonna have to
21.
roll again.
Do you have the same mod? If you have the same
Can we keep?
modifier,
Can we keep? Can we
No.
keep the? Yeah, I have the.
Unfortunately, if you
I
have the same modifier, then we cannot keep the second one.
Oh no! I was saying, can we keep the first one? Because my second one was a 7 and my first one was an 11. So
Oh, okay.
we'll keep the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
First one.
Yeah, I'm fine with keeping the first one as long as you have the same modifier on it.
Yeah, I do.
Alright, Cecilia 17, that makes sense.
Cecilia's a snake. He's doing fine.
Yeah, he's
he's-
fine.
He's fine. He's thriving.
Lunette, 21.
Everybody else.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Makes sense because you've been riding the camel and not exhausting yourself as much as the other. But Ezekiel and Valbella, you two both failed.
Oh no.
So you're both going to take a point of exhaustion.
Ooh.
From,
So is that just like?
It's disadvantage on ability checks.
Oh, for
It's
how
okay.
long?
Until you manage to get rid of it.
That's fine. That's not
Essie,
real.
no, it's not. Essie, no, it's not.
No.
It's not fine.
Out of mind, out of sight, out of.
Okay, let's just hope we can. We get to eat more tonight.
No, it's okay.
Essie, please.
No,
Everyone dies. Yeah. No more Sam.
just as you.
Hooray.
Alright.
This is my
So
burden to bear.
that occurs early in the morning as you travel and the desert heats up far further than it had the past days as you hit a heat wave in the Imhara. Relatively early on in the morning, Valbella and Ezekiel, you start to feel the effects of the heat kind of drain some of your strength away from you as you march. And so, presuming that you guys want to keep walking,
I suppose.
Yes,
Mhm.
I do.
then as you continue along throughout the day, eventually you're arriving at around noonish, when the sun is directly above you. You experience the effects of heat once more.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Wait, we all have to roll again?
Yes, you all roll again.
Yeah.
Okay, big money, no whammies.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
Fuck. I got an 11.
I got a 12.
I might have gotten a 5.
14.
Um, goofy news.
Hang on, you guys didn't let me finish before you started rolling.
Oh.
But let me just scan through what we got here before I.
Well, I just heard we're supposed to roll again, and I just
Oh,
followed. I just followed
Says-
the
He says
bandwagon.
roll, and I roll.
So I was going to make you two roll with disadvantage again, but you, Ezekiel and Val, you're both wearing the cooling headbands. So for the second one, I was going to say that you don't have to use disadvantage on your second one. The first one, yes, but no on the second one. So you don't have to roll again, Val, and we'll use those two rolls you guys just did.
Oh, well, if we want to do... Because I rolled with disadvantage anyway. If we want to go with the one that I would have gotten, it would have been a 20. Not a nat, but 20.
The one that you have right now is a 20. We're gonna use that one.
Mm-hmm.
And Ezekiel, we're gonna use your 5.
Hold on. I'm
Yep.
dying.
Cecilia will use your 11.
Great.
Actually, you guys are.
What if
you
I?
guys
What
aren't
if
wearing it,
I?
so you
What
don't
if I
get
give?
advantage.
What if I give him my 14? Sorry, I'm dying.
So you're what?
My 14.
Are you choking?
Yeah, I choked on
Okay.
Pepsi. It burned my
There's some
throat.
death going on right
No,
now.
Oh,
we're not
I'm good.
gonna
I'm
do any of
fine.
that. Just
I'm
for
good.
reference, Ezekiel, I know I said check first, but these are saves just for future reference.
Oh, okay.
You have the same modifier, so it doesn't really matter. But just keep that in mind because you don't always have the same modifier.
All right.
That it will only benefit you to start using the saves because you have for example, if I said make a wisdom save and you accidentally did a check, that'd give you a plus 3, but your save is a plus 5, so you definitely want to start using the saves.
Okay.
Now for this one, it doesn't matter because they're both plus 1, so we're just going to use your 5. But just for the future, you want to start using your saves.
Yeah.
I know you're tired, so it's okay.
No. So yeah, thank you.
All right, then Valbella, you're fine. Ezekiel, you're gonna get another point of exhaustion.
Wait, where do I add that?
So I can do it for you, but for reference,
Okay.
on the right side of your character sheet there, underneath where your health is, there's a section that says conditions.
Oh,
And if you
I
click
see.
that, it opens up all the different conditions. So if you're ever curious about what something's doing, you can actually click those and read about them by opening the little drop-down menus. And then just clicking that little checkbox will add that condition to your character. But at the very bottom is exhaustion, which you can also expand to read all the different levels. And then that little meter, it goes up, basically.
Wait, where is that?
So on your conditions there, on the right side of your sheet, of your character sheet, it'll open that big meter, and then you drop down that menu to read all about it if you want to. And basically they stack, so as you go up the scale for points of exhaustion, you gain all the effects. So if you have 1 point of exhaustion, that's disadvantage on all your ability checks until you manage to get rid of it. If you get 2 points of exhaustion, then you have your speed. And also still have disadvantage on ability checks. If you get 3, they cumulatively add together. Eventually, if you get to 6 points of exhaustion, you just die.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
He's gonna kill us, guys.
It becomes pretty obvious that you're getting to that point when you start to just basically not be able to move at all at a speed of 0. So
That's okay.
but yeah, so
killing
that's where you
guys.
can keep track of it, just by adding those points. Along that little sliding scale there, you just click what level you're at to keep track of it. So Val, you're still at 1 point of exhaustion. Ezekiel, you're at 2, and Cecilia, you gain 1 as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, I passed! Hell yeah.
And Lynette's still fine, just chilling up there on the camel.
Oh no.
But Cecilia's ready to end his life already. He's like, God damn it.
As long as you're eating and drinking, your exhaustion goes down by 1 point for every long rest.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that Ezzy at least should definitely eat and drink more.
No, it's okay.
Or does that not matter? It just matters if you're eating and drinking.
As you just have to eat and drink something technically, but I've been kind of giving you disadvantage on these rolls because you're eating less and drinking less than everybody else.
Well,
than your normal share.
Nice.
But you do have the cooling headband, so that's why you didn't have double disadvantage on both of those checks. You only added on the first one because you have your cooling sweatbands to help you a little bit. So yeah, as you begin to travel kind of past midday, as the sun beats down on all of you, you guys notice that Ezekiel is starting to kind of trail behind the party. Kind of his boots sinking down into the sand and sort of almost kind of bent double, walking far slower than the rest of you, dragging his feet. And I guess since you guys are all walking up ahead, Awala just sort of, can we pause for a second? Can we just stop? I don't think Ezekiel looks too good.
I hoist him onto my shoulder.
I think he's fine. He's okay.
Aww.
What's going on?
We have to keep going.
Yeah, we can keep going.
He's like dying.
I'm literally I will carry him on my shoulder.
Leandro sort of pulls Pancake to a stop, and Awala just sort of walks over to you, Ezekiel, and is just kind of helping you stand up. And then she looks over at the rest of you and says, "If we continue like this, then we're not going to make very good time."
Okay, Lunetto, get off the camel.
Alright, I suppose we make camp then.
Well,
Near-
we
oh,
could just
fuck.
put Ezekiel on the camel.
I know, but he has to get rest if he keeps
He
He can
can't
sleep
walking
on the
like this.
camel. He's not doing anything on the camel.
I fine. It's up to Ezekiel. Oh my goodness. It's up to Ezekiel ultimately, so.
It's okay, we can keep going.
You, Ezekiel,
Yes,
no offense intended, you look like shit.
I find that highly offensive, honestly.
Well, it's true.
Why would you insult me like this?
Just get on the camel.
Fine.
All
I'm not forgiving you for that comment, though. My feelings are so hurt.
So Lynette, are you hopping down off of?
Yeah, I got off the camel.
Very well. Ezekiel, Awala will kind of help you over to the camel. Bella, do you mind helping?
She goes over without hesitation.
You're a lot
That's her homie.
stronger than I am.
Yeah, I'll help. That's my homie.
All right. Then you manage to help Ezekiel up onto the camel. And now with Ezekiel perched up there, you can continue. And you won't lose any time from waiting for Ezekiel.
Throw the useless on the back of the camel and keep going.
Alrighty. And then with Ezekiel now up on top of Pancake, you continue to make your way through the desert on this rather sweltering day. And you travel for another few hours before Valbella, you're up front. So off in the distance, you can see something sort of shimmering in the distance,
Oh no.
kind of mixed into the heat waves, nestled between several tall dunes. And as you draw a little bit closer to it, make a perception check for him.
Hold on. Hoo-doo-doo-doo, doodle-doo-doo-doo. What does that do again? Is that a abilities? Would that be an ability check?
Technically, yes, yeah.
Shouldn't have. What? Oh.
All right. So you definitely see that there's something kind of different about these shimmers. It sort of looks like, the ground is slightly different where it's shimmering. It doesn't look like sand, but you don't actually know what it is.
Hey, I fucking hate this.
I mean, I hope you didn't expect desert travel to be Easy.
I didn't, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
I didn't want to suffer. I was okay if everybody else did, but I didn't want to. Me, the giant in full armor from the snowy north.
I don't care if other people suffer. What do you mean?
I'm just teasing you.
Ezekiel's gonna die if he doesn't drink water.
You should
No,
have been
it's
drinking
alright.
water then. I don't know what
My
to tell
hollow
you.
bones will survive.
He's doing fine, guys.
Oh,
Doing okay.
Alright, so I don't. Does anybody else?
Well, you're up front, so you're sort of the scout.
I'm doing a shit job at it.
So you'll get a little bit closer before anybody else will take too much notice of it.
I'm gonna die. We're gonna
As
die.
the rest are sort of traveling in behind and walking alongside. And as you get a little bit closer, you can see what appears to be potentially water of some sort shimmering in between the dunes.
I don't believe it. I don't believe you for a fucking second.
It does stand directly north in your path if you want to continue towards it, or you can do what you want.
I mean, it's Leandro leading us, so.
Yeah, but he's not going to play the campaign for you. If you want to suggest a
No.
change in route, that's all on you.
That's true.
Why are you putting the decision on me?
Because you see it.
Well, you're the scout, so...
I mean, the worst thing that happens, it's not there.
Sure.
So,
I mean,
how far away does it appear to be?
Right about now, it would be... probably about 100-ish feet out.
100 feet, so that's 12, 24, 36. It's like rough, I don't know, 10, not 10 yards, but like. Could someone drag something in the... no, because if we drag something in the sand, I'm overthinking this.
Is it water or is it not? Are we
You can
going
also
to look
just
at it?
you can also just tell everybody else that it exists and get their opinion. You don't want to do all the thinking.
That's so valid. I'm not gonna put this decision on me. So it appears that about 100 or so feet ahead, there could be a mirage, but I'm a little exhausted.
Nah, mirages aren't real.
Well, indeed, they are not real.
That is sort of the whole point of a mirage.
That
my
is
dear
the
friend.
definition. You're correct.
Made by the government to stop us from going.
He needs more water, so his opinion is a bit invalid at this current point in time. Moving on, Soot.
Oh, what? What's happening?
Ezekiel, every time you are like incapacitated, this happened, and I just
What
boy.
happened?
You just start saying weird shit.
Zeke says weird shit all the time.
I didn't. Just
It's
saying
not
that
just an
maybe
incapacitated.
mirages were made up by the government to stop us from going to their water holes in the desert.
Mirages are just the government conspiracy.
Like birds.
Jesus
Can we
Christ.
go to the water so
Yeah,
he
let's go.
shuts up?
Let's go.
Sean, let's,
It's like on the back
we
of the
just
camera,
have to
and he's
keep.
just like, water's fake. The government doesn't exist.
How are we going to find our?
Stop worrying about stuff. Let's just go.
But if I don't, I'm gonna feel responsible.
Literally don't. Shut up. We're moving.
Okay. Yeah, and then literally an hour later, Sitz is gonna be like, "It's your fault that we're lost."
We're not gonna get. We're literally going in the same direction.
No, it's not. It's a way. Jay literally said it is off of the path that we are taking.
No, actually, I said the opposite.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
said
it
it
was
was literally
directly
right in front of
I
us.
said it stands directly in front of you, due north, in the direction you're already traveling. That's why you kind of drew closer to it as you tried to figure out what it was, Valabella. But what I was saying was you were saying like, oh, well,
I'm
we're
being gaslit.
gonna reach it eventually. But I was saying like you can
Just like the
steer around it
government
if you
in
want
the
to.
Literally just go.
You can go around it if you want to. It'll just.
You said
obviously
that in
go
a
around.
way that implied it was not on this
He
path.
literally
I
said
Everybody
it was
else
right
got what I
in
meant,
front
so
of
I'm
us.
gonna say
It's
no. I
real.
didn't.
You're actually insane.
This is not gaslighting. We're being recorded. I heard
Yeah.
it too.
If everybody
I
else
don't
understood what I
believe you
meant,
all.
then I'm going to not apologize
We're
for
just
how
going
I
to
phrased
go-
it.
believe you all, but also I am prone to. Anyway.
We're just going to go forward.
Slightly
and
delirious from the
Okay.
heat as well, so can be
In
forgiven.
real life, too. God. Anyway, continue. I will go.
All right. So then you make your way forward, kind of traveling in between these two larger dunes towards this shimmering water in the distance. And eventually, once you draw closer to it, let's copy this updated version of you guys with Ezekiel on the camel. Just get rid of that. Okay. What?
Nothing.
Just you're laughing in the background.
What are you laughing about?
What are you kids up to on that other screen?
What do you have,
Don't make the
Joy?
teacher
What are
come
you laughing about?
What are you laughing at?
Is anyone
Ezzy?
laughing at the fact that I said to drown Ezzy in the water?
Now then, let's progress. As
Oh
you draw
wow,
closer,
it is a fucking swamp.
you can see sort of a stony rock features as the heat waves begin to dissipate as you draw a little bit closer, and you can see clearly. There's sort of these stony features and an indentation down into the sand surrounding it. The earth nearby is sort of not as sandy; it's more a dry, cracked earth. But down within this little indentation, why are you circling that? Down within this little indentation, you can see sort of a muddy-looking brown water. We have a
Yeah, you
chat
can type
feature.
this.
You can literally just write it in. Good soup.
It's mostly for my brain, because that's how I'm working. That's how I've been working out things. Oh, I was gonna do it.
I'm a comedy genius.
No.
I'm just wondering. Sorry, I'm just wondering why it's cracked. Because I mean, I guess I don't understand how geology works.
No, you
I would
don't.
like to drink the water.
Because water is literally right here,
But
and it's right.
it's underneath. Like, I believe that it is not. Like, it looks like it's in a cavern. So
Oh, see, I didn't get
Yeah.
that. I have
There's
no depth,
depth
perception. I don't have a sense of depth perception.
what are these?
Bones, stupid. They're
Uh,
bones.
Ezekiel, as you sort of
like
pull yourself off a pancake and make your way to the edge of this sort of rock formation and the indentation where this mud pit lies. The drop down into the mud pit is only about just kind of over 5-ish feet.
Encourage him.
In between kind of 5 and
encourage
10
him.
feet. It's not an incredibly far drop, though it's a little bit hard to discern how deep the mud is from here.
Bella physically grabs him.
No,
just
I
tosses
jump
him.
in.
Oh my god. This is like that video of the golden retriever who gets into the mud. Oh my
Now,
god.
You're just jumping in full armor, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That'll be fun to clean later.
Listen, you know,
No,
look,
yeah.
guys, hear me out. Hear me out.
No.
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 I'm
No.
not being heard out.
No,
See,
because what you're about to do is the stupidest thing you've
Listen.
ever done.
Right?
Okay,
I'll wait.
what do you have to say?
So, like, hippos, right?
Oh my
Hippos
fucking
in
god.
real life,
Yeah.
they like to sit in the mud because it cools them down, and the mud adds a layer of protection to their skin against the sunlight. So I just think that maybe.
And we all remember that this is the same person who is talking about the government and how they are in charge of oases and
No,
mirages.
that was a different person.
No, that was you. Ezekiel, that was you.
You're making stuff.
Ezekiel, please get out of the mud.
so-
please.
Ezekiel, I think you have really
Ezekiel.
rational thoughts. here.
Ezekiel, as you jump down into the mud pit below, you sink to about kind of
Yes.
I would say
Ass height.
above belly button height. It's about kind of half of you is now submerged into the mud before you feel your feet kind of hit a more solid bottom.
Oh, thank goodness he is not drowning.
And as you sort of
Damn.
hop down into this
I
mud,
wish you was drowning.
the desert heat around you is sweltering, but the mud is very cool.
Yeah, fuck you guys. I'm smart.
He is having a smart moment.
This is literally what hippopotamus do. They sit in mud and they step on people.
How do you know what a
One of those
hippopotamus
ideas is a good
You live in the
idea that we
north.
can apply to
How do
this.
you know what a hippopotamus is? You live in the north.
Cecilia is also going to jump into
It's
the
a
mud.
northern hippopotamus.
Yeah,
There is not a
exactly.
snowflake's
In the north,
chance in the-
hippopotamus jump in mud to get warm. Same
There
logic.
is not a snowflake's chance in the 7 hills I'm getting in that mud.
What if
You're
Cecilia,
so
what if
jealous.
Obella pushes her in?
Don't you fucking dare!
I would
It
like
would
to grab Lunette's
probably
hand and pull her in.
Required checks.
So guess what? Bobella's gonna pick Lunette up and she's gonna
No,
jump in.
no, I'm shocking
But
grasping you. Fuck
can
that.
contest
No.
all of this.
Okay, what check would I have to do?
You're just making an athletics, Valvella.
Okay.
Lunette, make a whatever you want, either a dex or a
Oh,
strength,
I'm not
figure it out.
passing that. I'm
I
not
mean-
passing that.
Yeah, just a check, not a save, right?
I got
Yeah,
a
just check.
7.
It
If
would
we're
be,
still
it'd
doing
be
the
either athletics or
disability.
acrobatics. Either is fine.
What? Can I get an advantage if Ezekiel's helping me?
I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a little bit far down to be helping you.
No.
No, he can grab her ankle.
While you
Little
lift
mud
me up?
goblin.
No, I'm just gonna
What
tip
is-
you in.
What's going on?
Well, I got a 15 dexterity.
Right. Then I would say, as you try to kind of put your hand on Lunette's back from where you're standing and push her in, she steps back.
What the hell?
I didn't. What? It didn't work. I don't know why you're getting
These
mad
are
at
nice clothes. I'm not getting mud on these.
I'm so cool and comfy. You're so jealous.
So
No, I'm
Cecilia,
perfectly fine.
just to
actually.
clarify something, Cecilia, you hop down in there full gear as well.
So Valbella's gonna take her gear off first.
He's gonna leave his like bags and stuff with like his crap in them, but like
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
take off my
Like,
stuff.
out-
let me
layers.
specify because I need to be clear on something. Did you just
Yes.
drag Yushaila down into the mud pit?
no.
Okay, I figured you probably meant that when you left your gear up there, but
Okay,
that's what I wanted.
Yeah,
To
she counts as
okay.
like anything attached to his body,
Alright, that's what I
including
needed
you.
to know.
She's not.
Okay, so the lantern's sitting up there then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Valbella deposited all of her stuff like here. That's my little indicator for her stuff.
Yeah.
And she took a running leap
Oh,
over
God.
Ezekiel.
Yeah, you could definitely jump over Ezekiel because it's a
Fuck
little ways
yeah.
down.
Oh, the lantern
Fuck yeah.
is unattended.
Lunette, I
Lunette,
swear to
if you
fucking
touch it,
God.
I will drag you into this water. I will drag you into this water. There will be
Mud,
no
not water.
checks. There will be no checks from God because it will just be brute force.
Oh man.
Yeah, so Valbella, you take a moment to take your armor off, which does take at least a few minutes in D&D time, but
That's fine.
then you leap off over Ezekiel and into the mud yourself. And so now the three of you, Awala's just kind of sitting on the edge of the stones there and just kind of dangling her feet down. But the three of you are now in the mud pit, which is very cool. It cools you right down. You can feel your internal body temperature dropping as you stay within it.
Oh,
I'm so smart.
we're having so much fun.
So do you just want to spend some time in here? Is that what you're doing?
Does Awala join us? Or
If you want her
Awala,
to. She's just kind of sitting on the side, but you can talk to her.
No. I'm still having a gay crisis. I gotta figure out my feelings. I gotta figure out my
I gotta
feelings.
tell you, it would have been solved real quick if you had shoved Lynette into mine.
No
Damn.
more Lunette love.
You should have let me do it then. That would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. It would have worked out perfectly.
I would bet $20 that Leandro would never come in here within like 5 inches of his life because he's probably the clothes he's wearing are probably.
See, you don't have to make that
Worth
bet because
everything we have
nobody's
on
gonna
him.
bet against it. Nobody's gonna bet
It's
against
true though. Like, yeah. I was thinking, I was like, nah, he would never get in there.
All right. Yeah. So within the mud pit, you can see some rock formations kind of jutting up high enough to emerge out from under the mud. As well as on the far side, you can see kind of these two. At first, they looked like stone, but now that you kind of look at them, they look a little oddly shaped for rocks. They're pointed and stick up kind of in a curved pattern on the far side of the mud pit.
Oh, bones. Bone time.
So you wade your way through the mud. It's pretty thick mud, so it's hard to kind of walk normally through it. So you move at sort of half your movement speed as you walk through it, trudging your way through this mud and over towards these two bones that are sticking out. And make an investigation check for me.
Oh, great. Okay. I guess that's still a fucking. Does this take away my exhaustion?
Okay.
I'm begging. Oh my fucking god. Got a fucking nat one.
Alright, well, we don't need to do any more rolls. So you just kind of look around at them, but you don't really notice anything strange about them. Awala leaves her her scarf off by the side and hops down into the mud. The others, as you watch Valbella just kind of wading through the mud and looking at these
Someone else come look at this thing
Strange.
before I just.
No.
I'm gonna
shapes.
kick it into Timbuk fucking too. I'm so frustrated.
Yeah, you've now spent a relative amount of time within the mud. So everybody can reduce their exhaustion level by 1.
Thank God.
Let's
Y'all
go.
called me crazy.
While I'm up here, I also wanted to try and spend some time actually
so
copying down
discriminated
Identify.
against.
Okay.
Because it does say with the Wizardly Quill, the time for copying is reduced to 2 minutes per spell level.
Yeah, then you definitely, you'd have enough time.
Yes!
Good mud. Good soup? No. Good mud. Does anybody else
Friends
want to
the mud.
investigate these bones?
Well, I'm not going in the mud, so...
No one was asking you.
You are a
Well,
little
that's
baby.
everyone.
It was mostly exclusive to the people in the mud pit. So... meh.
I am not a baby, I have class.
Your class is a wizard, and that's all. I'm glad you laughed at that. That was so stupid. Oh, fuck. Okay. So dumb.
It was dumb.
It was stupid.
There usually is a bit of a gold cost on copying down spells, Lunette.
Yeah.
Cough it
but-
up, whore.
You guys are a little bit isolated right now, and so you also have spent a long time traveling, and this is sort of your thing. So I'm actually gonna say that you had some of the kind of arcane ink that you need to copy it down. I'm gonna say you actually had some on you, though you now do not. So if you want to do it again, you need to restock that.
Thank you.
So for the sake of that, I will give it to you this time, since I think Lunette's character, it makes sense for you to have already had some. I can't see why you wouldn't have any when that's kind of your whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get it this time, but you will have to restock for next time.
Oh, I can investigate so many things.
Make sure everybody reduce their exhaustion levels.
No, what exhaustion? I never had any. Flex.
Well,
flex
you
on
don't
my
get to
new-
reduce it anyway. So, yeah. Bella, what are you doing over on the other side there? Anything in particular?
Unless I can investigate these stupid fucking bones again. Nope.
Well, you already made your check, so
Yup. I did indeed.
you can call somebody else over and see if they want to do it. But other than that,
I
you're-
tried, and nobody wanted to.
very well then. What's your plan now?
But I guess come back over if nobody's gonna investigate the bones.
I'll come investigate.
Bones, schmones.
All right, go for it. Give us another investigation check.
Eh.
Hmm.
What'd you get?
Uh,
I don't think anything.
not me. It doesn't matter what I get.
Oh.
Or does it?
I got a 5, maybe.
Well,
What if I roll? What if I roll? What if I?
that was
just
that was
see.
your
I would have gotten a 17. I would have gotten a 17. It's
for the-
because I didn't smack my dad's bald head. That's what this is. This is really all about.
No!
for the sake of not turning everything into infinite rolls, I usually just allow one with
I
advantage
know.
or a repeat.
It was
so that
my
you're not
spite.
just, plus potentially one repeat if it makes sense to do so. But
It was just my
you,
spite.
the two of
It's
you
okay.
spend some time kind of poking around these twin little structures jutting out of the mud, but are unable to really determine anything else about it.
Crying, weeping, howling, sobbing, shitting, even. Oh boy.
All right. So you can tell me how much time you want to spend in the mud pit.
Since I guess we're good because we've already like fixed our exhaustion.
Well,
Hello?
what?
Hello?
I'm waiting for anybody else to talk.
Oh, I agree.
I zoned out, I gotta be honest. I was reading about Identify.
It's alright.
Eh. Hee hee, funny.
Try
It
not
has
to
a
annoy
GP
anyone.
cost, apparently, which sucks.
GP. Dang. Money. Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Cry. I cry.
It has a component cost technically, but it doesn't consume them. So as long as you got a focus, you're good.
Oh!
Alright, let's figure out how to get the hell out of this
The
mud.
only spells that start to cost you money are the ones that say that they consume them.
Okay. I swear sometimes I've heard people say it's gold ore consuming, but if that's how you do it, then
it's
yay.
the gold amount is specifying the stuff that you're paying for. So that 100 GP means you have to find that pearl worth it, and the money that you'd be paying would be just like buying that pearl. So things like diamond dust and all that stuff are given amount so that you know how much of it you need to buy for a single cast of that spell. And only things that say that they consume it are the ones that need you to constantly replenish that. Otherwise, you're good to go. So something like identify, if you were using components and stuff like that, then you'd need to do that. But for the most part, components are pretty much hand waved, so you're all good.
Okay. Oh man, I feel like this is a bad idea.
What's a bad idea?
Touching the lamp.
I wouldn't if I were you.
Luna, are you touching my lamp?
I might be.
She's gonna obviously be like, no, bitch. Get away.
Oh,
It's
it is
just
a 1 minute cast. Well, you have 1 minute to get out of the mud pit.
Trying to cast identify on my lamp.
Out of character, I don't think this would do much, but I think in character, Luna's still very curious. So yeah, I'm gonna identify the lamp.
Cecilia is now going to attempt to climb out of the.
All right. Cecilia, you kind of haul yourself up. It's kind of like a jagged rock face there, so there's kind of little handholds that you can grab to pull yourself back up out of it. You definitely do so within a single minute. So by the time you haul yourself up here, Luna has not finished the cast of Identify.
God. I'm gonna grab my lantern from her. Jesus.
Ah,
Lunette! Personal item.
I was just touching it.
It's my stuff, okay? Luna, I don't think you understand how much, like, serious trouble I can get into if somebody else touches this thing.
I do not. That's why I'm so curious.
You are interrupted by rumbling and splashing. Ezekiel and Valbella, the two of you kind of turned your attention to the arguing on the far side of the mud pit as you finished up trying to figure out more about what these two structures might be. And as you kind of watch the two of them argue, you feel kind of waves of mud splash up against your back.
Oh,
Surely
go!
this
Get
is
out!
not
Get
gonna
out!
help
Get
you,
out!
yes?
Oh no!
Oh,
No!
And
We
then-
have to go. We have to.
As the two of you turn around, you see those two structures that were jutting out of the mud pit begin to move. And slowly but
Oh my
surely,
god!
something pulls itself up out of the mud.
Oh my god.
That's an undead
That's-
elephant.
That's terrifying.
And as mud sort of streams off it and it pulls itself up from the waters around you, you see a skeletal elephant standing tall, towering over both of you. Ezekiel, you actually you look at it and it looks slightly familiar. It sort of almost looks like mammoths that you might have seen up north. Valbella, they don't really live in that area.
Good. That's
Oh.
fucking terrifying.
And,
Can we move away? Can we
it's-
Just like
go?
me for real?
As it towers over the two of you, pulling itself up out of the mud, it just sort of stares down at the two of you with empty eye sockets. And roll initiative.
Oh
we
my
might-
God.
It's just a little dude.
Oh, go
getting-
in the mud, Lunette.
we're
It's
getting-
going to be fun.
We're getting very close to 10, and I don't want to push this too far over, so we might just say next time. For the sake
Oh,
of
I got a nat
I have an
20.
eight.
Ezekiel.
I got a
Um,
7.
Let me write down
Did
your
you-
unit rolls.
Holy
Nat
shit,
20s
the
mean
dice are
nothing.
cold today.
Those are
Nat
so
20s
bad.
mean nothing for initiative, Ezzy. My AC is at 9.
Wait, oh yeah,
My-
that's a good
My
point.
armor class is officially less than fucking Tsuliu's.
Yeah, but you have more health. So.
The critical roll of it doesn't really affect much, but a nat 20 usually means you'll probably go first.
Oh,
Man, the dice are cold. Holy
Celia,
shit.
It's because
Yeah.
I didn't.
Seven.
It's because I didn't smack my bald dad's head. My bald dad's head. That's
Your
the
bald
one.
head.
My
You
bald
have a
head.
bald head.
Nope, that's my.
I was right. My blackjack test was right. I had bad luck tonight.
You're
We
right.
shouldn't have played. We should have held off. Also, I have 1 hit point more than you,
Jay,
Cecilio.
question.
One sec. I'm just writing down your initiative roll, so I'll be distracted.
Oh my god.
Hey,
I'm
Jay.
disengaging and getting the fuck out of there.
Can I use command on it, or is that not correct?
Please be able.
Well, we can try that next session.
Next
Okay.
time on.
Aw.
Since I don't want
He's
to
so
get into
sad.
it right now,
Rama.
since that'll
Yeah, no
it'll
problem.
certainly push us
Silence.
past 10. And seeing
Yeah.
as you're already tired, I don't want to make this too much longer. So we'll hold off for a time.
Yeah, no problem.
It's a slightly,
Lynette
it's,
is
it's,
having
it's only
such, and I told you so.
it's a 10-minute earlier end, so it's not too much
Yeah,
of a
but-
difference.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
Yeah.
really not bad. It could
Yeah.
be so much worse.
Lunette and Valbella got 8s.
Yep.
Cecilia, you got a 7, and
I don't want to
Izzy with a
talk about
19.
it.
All right.
Bitch.
So
Not you.
for most likely, Ezzy will be going first, but we'll do that next time.
Please,
Okay.
if he can command
Right.
this fucking elephant, I beg of him to do so.
I command him with my little kiss.
A little kiss. Give a little kissy. A little smooch. A little
Little butt kiss.
smoocheroonie.
Well,
A little
as you
smoocheroonie.
You'll understand from the north.
as you
I understand perfectly fine.
as you stare up at this elephant, you can sort of see that it also has it's wearing like this heavy-looking armor across its head and down its trunk, and some spikes along its tusks as well, kind of further down towards where it was submerged.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's emo for real.
And from that, you can kind of get the sense that perhaps this elephant was some sort of war steed at one point.
That's
Oh,
so
you're
great.
so
That's so
special.
wonderful. So he
I'll
probably
kill them,
has
I'll kill them.
PTSD.
I don't think this skull. I don't think this skull anatomy is accurate.
No, it's so correct.
Such a killjoy.
Especially considering he's dead.
Nah.
Yeah, Lynette, don't be mean to the dead. Jesus.
God.
Oh, I'm being
Drew, what
mean,
is wrong
alright.
with you? D and I.
So we will pick up again next time, right here.
Wizards DNI.
Lunette, DNI.
Annette D and I.
Alrighty. Over to the other screen. So, first things first. Next time.
I'm good for now.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't know my work schedule yet, but I should be good if my boss actually pays attention to my my requests.
The 19th. Alright.
Planning a little bit ahead. I know that we typically don't do this, but I know for a fact that the Sunday, I think it's the 26th,
Yes,
I
the
will not be
26th.
available. Yeah,
Yeah.
me, I think literally me, Ezzy, and Sitz are all unavailable.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
probably will also be.
It
I'm-
is
Okay,
literally
great,
the day
cool.
after Christmas.
for all
It's the day
intents,
after Christmas.
there is a very high
Oh,
chance that we will
yeah.
actually be taking some time off for Christmas. Probably at least a week.
Okay, cool.
before that.
Sounds great.
Um,
Dude.
Oh, good. New Year's
don't know how
falls on
the-
a Saturday, so
Uh,
we'll be okay for.
I don't know how the week kind of leading up to Christmas will work. I'm guessing the Sunday, the 19th, will probably be fine for me. But the other sessions, I'm not quite sure. I have to see about everybody else's schedules, though.
We're just so cool and special.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Around Christmas, expect that we'll probably take some time off from just streaming in general, just because I imagine everybody's going to be busy, and I probably will be a little bit more busy as well. So, there will probably be some time off around that time. But, yeah. Man, Incarnate added some Christmas assets.
Oh boy.
We
For-
get Christmas
Nice.
gifts?
Stamps and stuff
Oh
like
my
that, and they look really good, but I don't have anything to use them on.
Give
It's
it,
making me
do a
sad.
little
Say-
one shot, a little Christmas one shot.
I was
No,
thinking about
no,
that, but I
just put
don't
a
know.
Santa encounter in the desert, you know?
I don't know what to do for it. I would have to come up with a good idea, and I'd have to be able to do it without extensively adding to my workload before Christmas.
A raid on Krampus Castle.
Yeah.
Making a
agree.
castle sounds like a lot of work.
I don't know.
But yeah, so we'll pencil in next week around 7, perhaps 7:30, depending on how schedules work out. But we're usually pretty easy to adjust that. So we'll say around 7 for next week, and then we'll see how things go from there. As for the rest of this week on this channel, tomorrow will be another Silver Song at 7 p.m. Eastern. They're probably going to do the breaking and entering tomorrow, so tune in for that.
Breaking and entering.
It might not be breaking and entering. It might be just a
Ask and intrude.
peaceful discussion. It might be a meeting that they managed to arrange. Who knows? They might just go in guns blazing and just
Fuck
kill
shit
everybody.
up.
Who knows?
As the kids say.
But we shall have to see. But for all intents and purposes, they most likely will be making some action tomorrow. So we shall see how that ends up.
Tune in next week.
As for Wednesday, like I said at the beginning of the stream, the players of that campaign have exams in and around that time, and we almost certainly will not have a stream. We'll not have a session. I might do a stream depending on my schedule. It'll be probably around the same time, so 7ish. But depending on if I have something else I'm doing that night, I might take the night off. But if I'm not doing anything, then I will try and do at least an hour or 2 long stream where we do a little bit of writing stuff or map making. Depends on which is more interesting to me at the time that I click go live. But yeah. So it'll probably be around 7ish, but I'll announce it on Twitter and the Discord before I do it. But speaking of, if you want to get schedule updates, follow me on Twitter at GrandLorian. If you want to join our Discord, feel free. We are open to anyone. It's not just for players, so join as long as you obey the rules here over
Luna,
there.
stop.
Then
Give me the lantern.
you should be fine. We have channels for memes, for art. There's a big art channel that you can scroll back through with lots of really great stuff. So you can check that out. All on the Discord. If you want to catch up on stuff you missed, you can check out the archive on YouTube. I move all the VODs over so that you can listen to them. If you ever miss anything, or go back and watch older stuff as well. So that's where you can find that, GrandLorian on YouTube, but the link is there as well. If you want to know more about the living world that all the campaigns I run on this channel take place in, that persistent world of GrandLorian, you can read our World Anvil, link is there, which I update from time to time with more and more information and lore. There's stuff on factions, deities, places, and even some characters there. For reference, this campaign that you saw tonight takes place in the Desert Kingdom of Zul'Garan. They're moving from the coastal city of Al-Zahar north towards the Kasana Oasis. And they're getting pretty close. So that's all I have to add. If you haven't followed, please consider doing so. It's incredibly free, and it will update you on when we go live if I ever shift anything around and you don't see it on Twitter. And also, I sometimes retweet fan art on my Twitter. But if you follow us, we eventually will get to our 100 follower goal, where we'll do something cool. I have some hidden stuff that I have not let anybody else see, like literally nobody. So we'll talk about some of that stuff when we hit 100. it'll be cool. So if you want everybody to get very happy, help them get closer to 100 followers. Whew, I'm tired. I don't know why I'm so tired.
Me also.
I'm getting hit with those. I got like 4 points of exhaustion or something. All right. Then we might as well wrap up
losers.
here because I think everybody's tired. Have a good night, everybody, and we will see you either on the next session of Seas of Sand or perhaps tomorrow for some Silver Song. That's a very, very entertaining campaign as well, so please consider tuning in. Other than that,
There are a
have
bunch of
good
gay
night.
lords who change the future.
I don't know if any of that is true.
Probably not. I think Ruva is a little fruity, but as far as that goes.
Jesus Christ. Come on.
Well,
What? I'm giving them something to look forward to.
it is an interesting campaign, I promise. But yeah, take care and have a good night.
Night chat.
Night night.